You're listening to the Hot Topix Podcast with Psycho 4081, the lovely Lady Lamb Chop, and the fabulous Felonious Feather. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Hot Topix Podcast. This is Psycho 4081, and I'm here with
Lamb Chop,
the lovely Lady Lamb Chop, and Felonious Feather is missing in action.
Don't talk about her like that.
You know, I was gonna come up with a story.
I know you were. I knew it.
So
some shenanigans.
Yeah, she didn't. I'm not gonna say she got arrested for shoplifting or anything like that.
That's not right. And ICE didn't get her.
So, well, today we have and I always say we have a different episode today, but today we have a guest here who's running for the Baltimore County Council, District 4 council seat, right? There's going to be a new district lines drawn. I'm not sure if they have it already set. I'm not sure yet. Okay. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But she was graciously enough to join us and let us know her position on becoming a councilwoman. I'm sorry.
Councilwoman.
That's right, Councilwoman. And her name is?
Her name is Mrs. Did I ask you? Is it Mrs.? Mrs. Makeda Scott.
Yes.
You know, I never bothered to ask all these years.
I know, right? I have a husband, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Wonderful. This is a great opportunity. So looking forward to talking. I am filed to run for the council district as it currently stands 4. However, with the last amendment and the changes, it is currently council district 3.
Okay.
So it will be, yeah. So the final, they had until the deadline of October 1st. So assuming there are no more changes or anything, the new districts are actually in, and it's on the Baltimore County website.
Okay.
And my district will be the new Councilmanic District 3. So I previously ran for school board in District 4 as it exists right now. Mm-hmm. And if you go and you look at the filing, I am filed for District 4 because that's how it currently exists. As of last week, I can't remember which day it was when the amendment came through. It was called the Ertel-Patoka Amendment. And so that's what changed the districts, changed the map to what you see currently today. So I can explain, let me know how much you would like me to go into that. But basically, the district I'm running in is the new 3rd, and it's comprised primarily of Owings Mills. And if you're driving towards, I believe, Marriottsville, on the right-hand side of Liberty Road. So it's Liberty, so it's so it's Owings Mills, the right-hand side of Liberty Road, up until you get to where it used to be the old Ollie's Rolling Road. That's why I call it the crossroads, where Sonic is. Going back towards, like, Baltimore City, that is going to be the new District 4, which would include Pikesville. And then on the right-hand side, going towards the city of Rolling Road, that will be the new District 2.
Okay. Is it a good thing that they changed the districts or no?
Well, I think what is going to happen is I believe there's been a lot of confusion, and I believe that there will be a lot of voter confusion unless we get out there and let people know what these districts have changed into. I believe that the way that it was rolled out was not advantageous to the voters, to people who are going to vote, not know where their polling places are, where their districts are.
Right.
For myself as a candidate, it has been very difficult because people don't know where they're voting. I don't know who's in my district. Up until the other day, I'm running, and I don't know what district I'm running at. So it has been quite a challenge with fundraising, speaking to people. So it's 2 parts. I feel I have to let everyone know that I'm running, but it's also doubly an education campaign to let them know that they're going to be voting in the new District 3.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and some of the feedback, they're like, why now? Why is this happening? I've been in the same district for 14 years. And so, yeah, I'm actually out door knocking now. So it's I'm just coming off the door. So I've heard a lot of feedback from people, and it's basically the regular everyday voter is not sure what's going on, why it's going on. So I am hopeful that there will be town halls, forums, community meetings to let people know where they're voting, what their new districts are, and what this means.
And mailers help too. So I hope they're on top of that with mailers.
Mailers as well. Yeah, mailers. Because I heard from some seniors. They were saying, that they've moved into senior centers, and their address on their license hasn't changed because they haven't had a reason to change it.
Right.
So how are they going to be notified if they're sent to a new polling location? So, yeah, just those kind of things that are very important to make sure that we have an educated, knowledgeable voting populace so that they can go out and know who they're voting for and know where they're voting.
Yeah, that's really important for our seniors because our seniors vote.
Yeah, it is.
So that's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so that's a lot of what I'm doing, what I've been doing. It's a very different race from when I ran for school board because there wasn't this redistricting going on. So I could talk about myself and my background and everything. So, but yeah, I appreciate opportunities like this to help to spread the word about my own campaign, but also with give some updates as far as what's going on.
So what inspired you to run specifically, I can't talk today, in this district?
Well, it inspired me to run because I've always said when you want to see something happen or you have ideas about how things can be better, instead of just talking about it, I believe you should put yourself out there and do it. And I wanted to, there are a lot of ideas that I had for school board, a lot of ideas that I have for council, and I wanted to be the person to make those things happen. I didn't just want to talk about it or complain. I felt, if I want to see change, I have to be that change. So that was just initially what put me out, got me to want to run and to put myself out there. And I feel that I have been able to be effective in making changes. And most notably, I'm very proud of the work I did on the school board. I became the first Black woman chair in 250 years.
Wow.
So that was, they'd never had a Black female chair, which is...
That's crazy.
Fascinating, yes. That's another word for it. So I was happy to do that. But I also to say, and when I speak, I say, Black women leading should be the norm, not the exception.
Absolutely.
Right.
So... that's also, what inspires me to make it normal for people to see Black women in charge, Black women leading. We have not had a Black woman on the council. That doesn't deter me from running for that position. But I believe it's not just our color or our sex, but also our qualifications.
Well, that was my next... sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. I'll keep going.
Well, my next question was, how does your life experience... What in your life brings you to this position, and how do you feel like your life experiences are going to help you with this new councilwoman seat?
There we go. We're going to put that out there, this new councilwoman seat.
Yes.
So, wait a minute, real quick. They added 2 new districts, correct? Okay, so it was one on the west side and one on the east side?
Yes.
Okay.
So I feel that what prepares me for this is my background. I started out as I worked at AFSCME as an organizer. Then also I'm a former Capitol Hill staffer. I worked for Congressman John Sarbanes, where I really learned the importance of constituent services, how to do it well and effectively. I was his first communications director. And I also prepared myself because I knew I wanted to run. I knew I was doing a lot of, I'd also worked for the British Foreign Office. I worked abroad in the UK. I worked for a climate change campaign. And I saw that I was doing a lot of work internationally, nationally, but there were a lot of things that I live in Owings Mills. I live in Baltimore County. I'm a mother of 3. And I saw there were things that weren't happening here at home. And so that's when I said, you know what, I want to take my knowledge and my experience and my work and what I've seen and apply that locally and make changes happen where I live. I went through the Emerge training, Emerge Maryland. I was a part of that first class. And I also attended a campaign school at Yale so that I could also get training. And I feel that my experience running and winning and working on the school board has helped me also prepare, because I've worked with the council. I've worked with budgets, getting our budget passed, the operating budget and the capital budget, to make sure that our schools are properly and adequately funded. And then having that go to the council, working with the council to then get that funding funded so that we could see it in our school. And I think seeing schools being built, like I was just up the street at Deer Park, and knowing that I had something to do with, that's just one of many, and the impact that's had on children, and hearing parents say, thank you, this is a great school. All of my children went to BCPS public schools. My daughter most recently graduated from Newtown. They have a wonderful IB program there, and working with the superintendent and the administration to ensure that children in this community have good schools, good programs to go to, and then use as a platform to go out into the community is very important for me. So I think all of that has prepared me, it's inspired me, and invigorated me and made me ready to not only run for this position, but to come there and hit the ground running.
Yes.
I believe that experience is not based on age, like I said, or sex, or anything like that. It's experience is based on experience, and that's what I have, and that's what I bring.
That's a pretty
good damn resume. Yes.
So with this new district, formerly District 4 or whatever, what do you see as the most urgent issue facing the new district, and what would be your first step to address it?
Yeah, and so for me, someone who lives here, one of the first things that I want to address is constituent services. I want to basically have an office that is a resource, because there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed. What I've been hearing on the doors as I've been talking to people, a big one is understanding how the permit process works, which was something I hadn't thought about prior to running. Being able to, a lot of people have, unfortunately, are federal employees and have lost their jobs. Right. So a lot of people are doing, small markets or pop-up shops, and they were having confusion with the permit process. So working to simplify that, or having workshops where it can teach people who are trying to supplement their income with how that process works. In addition to that, I see an issue with making sure that our schools are adequately funded. That is, I know, a continued battle that didn't begin and end with me. That's something that has to continue. And we have to make sure that our schools in the fourth, as it is now in the new third, are going to get the proper funding so that we can produce well-educated children who can go to, if it's a trade school, if they would like to go to work or go to college, but they have the necessary experience in school and the necessary education to do that. Another big issue is also affordable housing, making sure that people are able to afford to live and buy and stay in this district, in this community. So if that's a senior who would like to, continue to stay in their home, making sure that there are adequate resources to help with that. But also if someone is young and they want to become a home buyer, making sure that there's a pathway to that. Or if you just need assistance in staying and maintaining your home, having an office that's a resource that can help give you advice. I just talked to someone who their HOA isn't functioning, and they have an issue with the pond and people putting dirt and trash and debris back there, and they want to know, who do we go to fix that? Our property value is going down. Is that a council issue? Can we call somebody? And that's what I said, absolutely. So addressing those kinds of issues, all which are around housing. I believe in a holistic approach. It's not just one thing. It's multi-layered, and I want to have a team where we can pivot and adjust and work on all those different levels.
Okay, I actually like that answer, because some of the things when we've discussed with people before, they try to give a one one prong approach when it has to be
Right.
multi-prong approach to solve problems. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because it's different levels to housing, different stages of housing. I used to work for the Enterprise Foundation, started by Jim Rouse, and he's the person who coined the phrase shopping mall, and he built Columbia. And so I learned firsthand with the redevelopment of Sandtown Winchester. I was a national coordinator for communication, so I would go out and look at different areas, and that's where I learned in affordable housing, housing redevelopment. It's different layered, it's multi-layered, and you have to be holistic in your approach.
Okay. Absolutely. So a lot of citizens are concerned about, rising crime in these areas, Randallstown, Woodlawn. What strategies do you think that you would like to see put in place to be effective, and to help our citizens? To be effective and equitable. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I feel that it's important to work with the police force. I believe in community policing. I've worked on several community policing projects, but I don't believe that you should police the community. I believe that it should be a partnership, working with the police department and having, as I've gone to many community meetings where a police officer comes, tells you what's going on, but also seeing the police in, like my daughter used to play basketball, and the police would come to the Arbutus Community Center and play basketball with them. And I remember a young lady said, wow, the police are fun, and they know how to dunk and do the jelly and and it made them see the police in a different light. And I think more of that has to happen so that it's community policing. We're working together. I also think there should be pathways for police officers to live in the communities that they work in. I think that's important, because then it's not it's coming in and working in a community that you are not a part of. I think having the ability to live here, to work here, is something that's beneficial. So I'm a big proponent of that. And also the police, of course, in the schools, that was something that is also, I think, very good, very useful. And it helps young people engage with the police in a different environment, on a different level.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, in the past, I've been able to be a part of that. All of that you mentioned, whether it be with PAL, community outreach, or, just being interactive with community and community groups. So I do think that's a great benefit to improve, community police relationships. So
absolutely.
Now, going back to schools.
Yeah.
I know there's been some, new building and stuff like that, and people had expressed to me here and there that they had some challenges with overcrowding. So I know you're being from the school board. I know you're a big advocate of the schools in this area. How would you address the overcrowding and the aging infrastructure, things like that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because yes, I'm proud of the work that I've done in our schools over here. And I've had, like I said, children who have gone through these schools. So we've lived through some of what you're talking about, the overcrowding, which doesn't benefit anyone. I believe that has to do with looking at the master plan and building and development. Where is it being developed? And then what impact is that going to have on that school or the schools around it? And I feel that we could do a better job of working with the school system, the council, and if it's the board or the superintendent, as to when something is being developed, looking at what impact will that have on the surrounding community, primarily the school. Because overdevelopment that leads to overpopulation of schools, school buses running late, traffic, is not beneficial for any community. So again, I believe that goes back to development. How are we developing? Are we doing smart development, or are we just developing to develop and not taking into consideration the impact that's going to have on the schools and the surrounding community?
Okay, so that would, you said the plan, that's the 10-year plan?
I would look at the 10-year plan, yes.
Okay. So that's 2030?
No, we're in 2035.
35.
35.
Yeah, because we're in 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it started back in 20. I thought it was every 10. Okay.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. You get up there.
What are you
I
doing?
would make sure I would look at that. Yes.
Okay.
Plans and development for just the Owens Mills and the Woodlawn area. What plans and developments do you have for those? And like you said, you talked about displacing long-term residents, and that's important.
Want to displace long-term residents. But now, so Woodlawn would not be in the new third, but one thing that I would do is work with I believe it's important to work with the other council members.
Yeah.
Can't work as an island. So whichever district representatives, whichever council people were representing Woodlawn, I would definitely work with them to see, how we could support each other with development. But over here, I believe that we need more public spaces. I would like to see a park, public park that's accessible, community centers, wellness centers, places that are free and easy to get to. Something else I'd also like to look at is, and I believe this has been addressed, but I'd like to look at it a little bit more as far as public transportation just in the area so that seniors and young people can get around. Like a circulator or of sorts. I think those kinds of things are important, but definitely more public spaces where people can have community gardens, outdoor spaces. I believe that we could use and need more of those kinds of areas in the new third. Actually, I will say in the fourth, but definitely in the third.
Now, you touched on affordable housing, and I know that's probably one of the more difficult things because I know as a resident, we try to put that responsibility on our government. But what's your stance on affordable housing projects in the new district?
Now, are you saying public housing projects or affordable housing?
Affordable housing, whether it be public or private. I know you can't do too much with private.
Right.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, I can't do too much with private, but making sure that there's pathways for people to understand the process to get a loan to be able to afford a home. Public housing, which is different, I believe that should not be concentrated into just one area. I believe that should be spread out so that it's when you have pockets of concentrated public housing, that leads to other sorts of what could happen is if they're zoned to one school. And I believe that should be spread out around the county so that it is an issue, I believe, of equity, so that it's not just concentrated in one area. I don't believe that it should be concentrated in one area.
Okay. No more.
Primarily the fourth.
Okay. No more pockets of poverty, as they call it.
Right.
Correct. Because when you have pockets, or as I would call it, concentration of poverty, that also, like we were talking about the schools, then you have to have the resources specifically to address everything else that comes along with those pockets of poverty. Right. And so that can be overwhelming. So I think if it's spread out, we can make sure that it's addressed throughout. And that's something I would work with other council members to make sure that we're working on all of those things.
Okay.
What's your vision for reducing traffic congestion and improving road safety in the area? Because that is just,
especially road safety.
And just that Liberty Road can be nuts.
Well, as someone who commuted for years, I would drive to Halethorpe, driving to DC, so I know what you mean about that traffic. Yes. So, I mean, my idea for that, not just for Liberty Road, but even going Owings Mills Boulevard, Painters Mill, trying to get out of here in the morning is interesting. So I just think that it would be good to do a traffic study, to work with different departments in the county to look at ways, because there are experts who study this.
Right.
And I would like to work with them to look at ways that we can maybe change traffic patterns, different things that can be done to reduce traffic, but also definitely doing a traffic study to see where we can put down speed bumps and where, speaking to the issue you talked about, safety, what kinds of things can we do that can increase our safety measures as far as lack of speeding, like I said, speed bumps, but also are there ways that we could redirect traffic? But I would like to see, I'm a big person on studies, maybe something has already been done, but what has been done? If not, then what can we do? And how can we work together to change that and to improve it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what I've seen with my expensive experience driving around this area, people just don't, I don't even think the speeding is that big a deal. It's the fact that they just disregard traffic control devices like the red lights and the stop signs. It's like ever since COVID, it seems like everybody's like, I don't care. They're not going to pull me over or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I've seen speeding. I have seen speeding. So, and then I do remember up at, I think it's at security where they were doing donuts or something in the parking lots.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is, I believe, something that we can do about that. I think that should be looked into more and addressed.
Good, because I can hear them from my house.
So if you can hear them from your house, I'm hearing them from mine, right? Yeah.
So getting into the economy part, parts of this district, we say District 3, District 4, have historically been underserved in terms of economic opportunity. And I know there's been some recent movement in that direction. How would you support local small businesses and attract sustainable development? And that's been I think a topic for the last, I guess, 3 council persons.
Right.
Well, I think our local small businesses need to be supported, working with the Business Development Office of the county to come up with ways to, I know like right now they go into the library and they talk with small business owners and give them advice. I would see expanding that, but that would mean putting money into that so that it could be expanded so they could get more supports. Like I also talked about the permit process, because I think we're having a growing population of independent small business owners that may not have a storefront, but may be doing it, like I said, at farmers markets. So supporting that growing population through the permit process, through training, but also attracting businesses to the area I think is important. And I feel that we should take a more active approach in attracting businesses to come here, instead of waiting for them to come to us, actually going out there. And I look at ways that I could do that. Also working with the community. I saw a way, I believe they did this, it was either at Mondawmin, where people bought into an area, they paid in a percentage, and then businesses matched it and they agreed to come there. I could see maybe, doing something like that. That I've seen that happen in Baltimore City, but I believe there's areas out here where we at least could look at the possibility of doing something like that. So the developers would see that the business would see that the community is pouring into and has bought into that area, so then they would come in and know that it was a partnership between the community and the business.
I think that's a really good idea. So I have a vision of, having a liquor store in every corner.
Stop talking to me. Stop talking to us. How about that?
No.
He is so special.
All right. So what role should the county council play in reducing economic disparities across the district? And then you basically mentioned that too just now. So I guess that would be the county council as a whole. I guess you would have to come together.
Well, as a whole, yes, working together, coming up with a plan, looking at the 10-year plan, and then looking at ways we can partner and work together as a whole, because I believe it benefits us not to work individually. We have to work together to make sure that we are giving economic opportunities. I don't feel that it doesn't help that if it's being done in one area of the county and then this area, it's not happening. It should happen everywhere, because we all live downhill, and if one area is doing bad and not getting the resources they need, having the schools funded, having an increase in crime, it will impact all of us.
Okay.
So, how would you address housing insecurities and rent stabilizations or landlord accountability, how can you, put some time and effort into those areas? Because those areas are really important. We have a lot of renters in those areas, in that district, I should say.
Yeah, we have a lot of homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
Have a lot of renters, and I think that making sure that our policies are effective and in place. We need to have strong policies. I believe we need to review those, look at them to make sure that we are adequately, that we have policies to address the issues, but that we're also adequately enforcing those and looking at them to make sure that people are not being slighted, taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And again, I feel that we should maybe even put more money so that we can have someone specifically maybe even oversee that and look at that a little bit more and focus in on that. But then also making sure that renters know their rights.
Right.
Actually, letting them know, what their rights are and how they can access those resources and if they do need help. So I think it's going to be being more proactive about that. But again, making sure from the county side that the policies are there and that they're properly being enforced, and then at education, letting the renters know what their rights are.
Yeah, that's very important.
Very, very important. Mm-hmm. And that's how people get over on other people because they don't know the rules.
Right.
And any spectrum. But now you mentioned before something you worked with an environmental group or environmental agency.
So I worked with the Enterprise Foundation, but I worked with British Embassy, and we did a climate change campaign.
Okay. Climate change, good. That's my thing. It was in preparation for Tony Blair coming into, at the time he was coming in to head the G8, and there were a lot of people who said, climate change doesn't exist. So we did a big campaign to let people know what it is, it's coming, this is how it will impact you. Snow caps are melting.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Yeah. People are denying science.
Yes.
But with that said, there's been some, flooding, stormwater runoff in certain neighborhoods. Obviously, that's expected with this climate change thing. How would you ensure the county invests in environmental resilience for your district?
I think working with the state. And also making sure that, putting money into the budget so that we are making sure that we address that it is properly and adequately funded. I think a lot of things go back to funding, making sure that we have the funding in there and that it is coming to this district to address that. But also, I believe working, with the state to see what funding can come from there so that we can make sure. But again, that would be the whole county, but making sure that it specifically comes to my district.
Right.
Okay.
That's important.
It's very important. You talked about, having gardens and parks and just green space. How can we keep the green space that we have currently without, developers snatching it up? Because I feel like every time I turn around, I see a patch of trees being torn down for something. So is that a concern of yours, and how would you address it?
It is a concern of mine because that was some of the reasons why we moved out here, because of the green space. And as someone who does, I do farming. I have areas where I do plant and do farming, and I would like to see those areas continue. I believe, like I had said before I spoke to that, I don't believe in developing for the sake of development. Right. There has to be a purpose and a benefit to the community. So what I would do is look at where we are developing, what are we developing, what are we bringing here, but also protecting those green spaces, protecting those environmental spaces, and making sure that we don't develop in those areas. Also getting input from the community. Where would they like to see a park? Do they feel it's maybe overdeveloped? Do we need sidewalks here? Those kinds of things, or do we want to keep it a green space? But I believe community input, but also making sure that I'm looking at the layout of my district, where the spaces are green, where can we increase that, and then what development is coming and where is it going? But it has to benefit the community. Is it going to bring jobs? Right, is it going to provide a resource? Is it a youth center? Are we building a wellness center? but not just some. I've just never, like I said, my background with the Enterprise Foundation taught me there's smart development and community development, which is what I'm big on, and being strategic in what and how we bring to the community.
Okay. Now you have a pretty good background on community engagement. So would you commit to having regular town halls, community walkthroughs, or even district newsletters or e-letters?
Absolutely. I mean, I do that now with my campaign. What I would commit to is having community meetings, standing community meetings, but some of the things that I'm already doing right now. I'm doing community on your corner. So I show up I call it Councilwoman on your corner. And I show up in front of supermarkets and just put down a table and just talk to people so I can hear what their concerns are. That's something I'd like to continue once I'm in office, having, Councilwoman on your corner where people can come to us. And because everyone can't come to the district office, so I believe you have to go to where people are.
Okay.
So face-to-face, in-person, but also virtual town halls, in-person town halls, of course, a newsletter. But all of those, you have to be, you have to have multi-layered communication because people receive information in different ways. So I don't believe that there's just a one way fits all.
Yeah, I learned that as a community president, no matter what you tried, you always had to have another extra layer of communications for people who didn't, that is not technically savvy as everybody else.
Right.
But now I'm going to ask you two questions, and these are kind of, I guess, controversial questions. Right? What is your position on the Baltimore County Inspector General and the controversy over their hiring process? With the last nominee or person that they hired, and it went before the county council. What's your position on that? Should they have kept the last person, or let me cut you out.
Position.
Okay.
Oh, I cut out?
Oh, you good now?
Oh, okay. Sorry. But on that question, that's where I cut out, right? That's an important position. Like I said, when I was on the school board, I worked with the state inspector general for the school board and the Office of Auditing. I feel that position needs to happen. They made the decision that they did. I'm not sure of all the process and everything that went on behind it, but I mean, I support the position and I support the person in the position. So I don't really have much to say about how it went about because I wasn't a part of it.
Okay.
But I believe that position is important and necessary.
Now, do you think, or do you support giving the IG more autonomous power? That's where the big part is.
Right.
Yeah. So I believe it passed where the IG would also have power over the school system.
Okay.
And I believe that's going to Annapolis. My question about that is I did not see how that would factor into, there's already a state IG and then there's the Office of Auditing. And I wasn't sure how that third layer, if the county also had, if the county IG was also over the school system, how that would all work together. That's what I didn't see. That's what I would want to know. How will those three layers work together? Will they work together or will they work independently? Is it another layer of bureaucracy? Also, is there a cost impacting component to it? So in order to take on those additional roles, would there then have to be additional money put into that office?
Right.
Yeah.
And so those questions haven't been answered for me. So I would just need to know that information. And then I think I could speak better or make an opinion about it.
Okay, so that'll be coming a little bit further down the line.
Yeah. Another podcast.
Down the line, yeah.
Okay. All right, and speaking on transparency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Zoning. I know I don't want to beat up developers.
Right.
But
we don't.
What's your stance on transparency in zoning decisions, developer contributions, and political accountability? And those three actually tie in together.
Right.
For this particular question, at least.
Yeah. No. I mean, I believe there should be transparency. So I think that's a simple answer. Yes, I think there should be transparency between development contributions. I'm doing the public financing option. So yes, I do feel that there should be transparency.
Okay.
I would like to see that.
So what do you think District 4, that's the new district, right? District 3 is the new district. Okay, I'm going to get it together. District 3 is going to look like 4 years from now when you're elected.
So I feel it will have more green space. We will have more walkable communities, more sidewalks. I believe we will be doing smart development, have development that works for the community, not to development on the community. I feel that we will have a public circulator, transportation, so that there can be less driving or people getting around who do not have cars that could use public transportation. And so therefore it will lead to less traffic. We'll have well-funded schools, educated children graduating, going into jobs, going into trades. That's how I would like to see it.
Okay.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous. And it absolutely sounds like you got your feet on the ground and you're moving forward. And again, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
So thank
you for having me.
Final question. And I don't know if you could answer this now, because I don't know if anybody else has put their name out there for this particular position. So, but the question was, why should voters trust you to represent their interests over the other candidates that have not put their name out there yet?
Yes, I feel that I have experience that matters. I'm experienced, and my experience matters, and that's important. I have been a grassroots community activist working in this community, and I've been a former PTA president. I was a member of the board. I became board chair. So I've been working in bringing money into our schools, making sure our schools are funded, making sure that we have programs for our children. But in addition to that, I also worked on different levels of government. I've worked on the county level. I've worked with the county council. I've also worked on the federal level. I've worked in nonprofits. So I'm able to work and form partnerships with our legislators in Annapolis, with our members of Congress, and also on the council, because I believe it's going to take all of us working cohesively together to protect this community from everything else that's going on. So I feel that that's why I'm the best choice. I have the experience. I'm ready to hit the ground running, and I have a plan, and together I feel that we can really do some big things. I think we're at the precipice of being able to take this community and take our district to the next level.
Very good.
That sounds amazing.
And I like that plan you have.
Yes.
So, well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's hot and humid out there too.
Yes.
You're out there in the community.
Yes.
And I say good luck to you. And I for now, I hope to see you make that seat.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful meeting you both.
You too.
And I finally learned after all these years it's Mrs.
It is Mrs. Yeah.
You know, I figure I've been here for so long, I knew everything about everybody. It's like, huh? Mrs. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, family, for listening to the latest episode of Hot Topics. As usual, listen, like, share, subscribe. Ta.